Hello and welcome to the second episode, finally, of Catholic Book Guy. It's been about 9 months in the making. I apologize. I really meant to make episodes sooner after that first one, but life, happened and I got sidetracked. But at any rate, here we are for episode 2. And this time I'm going to be reviewing another Bible, the Ignatius New Testament Study Bible. We'll go ahead and take a look at it and introduce you to all the special features and the commentary. This is a really good one, and it's kind of my go-to study Bible for the New Testament. So the Ignatius Catholic Study Bible, New Testament. Right off the bat, we can see that it's a beautiful book, at least aesthetically. I love the cover on this one. We see the tetramorph. In other words, we have the representations of the four evangelists on the cover even. We've got Matthew represented as the man, Mark as the lion, Luke as the ox, and John as the eagle. So, and then of course the icon of Christ in the center, which kind of reminds me of perhaps one of the Pantocrator icons, more common in the East. But at any rate, I love the cover on this, and consequently, you'll notice this is just the New Testament Study Bible, but the Ignatius Bible without any kind of study material, the red copy, it's got the same cover just in red, again with the tetramorph and the Christ icon. So it's the same text. Now this is the complete Bible. It's Old and New Testament. And I might do a review on this one as well at some point, but this is just, the biblical text itself, whereas this is the big boy with all the commentary. So we'll crack it open here in a minute, but just some general information on it. It is RSV. You can see here, Revised Standard Version, Second Catholic Edition. This is the if you watched my first video, the first episode, you would have heard the commentary on the RSV, kind of the history of that. The Bible I reviewed in the first video was actually an ESV, which again, if you recall from that first video, is a kind of an update of the RSV. So, but this is the Revised Standard Version, Second Catholic Edition. That is, to my knowledge, that is the go-to translation for a lot of biblical scholars. So that seems to be the standard for Catholic biblical scholars, at least, and also I believe for non-Catholic scholars. So I think a lot of Protestant biblical scholars might use the RSV as well. Now, of course, we're using the Catholic edition. But at any rate, that is the translation we're working with.
Now let's crack it open and take a peek inside so you can get a look at all the awesome features it has.
So I hope you enjoyed that little preview. I really can't say enough good things about this study Bible. I've had it for, I've had it for a couple of years now, but I haven't utilized it fully until recently. I teach high school theology. Specifically, I teach a New Testament course, so you can imagine how beneficial this book would be. In particular, the introductions, as you saw in the preview, the introductions to each book are very helpful because they give a lot of pertinent background, You know, for example, here, Matthew's Gospel, we've got sections. Each book has the introduction, and each introduction has sections such as author, date, destination, themes, right? Structure. And then, of course, as you saw in the preview, there's a layout of each book as well. So when I teach New Testament, you know, I'm teaching it primarily from an academic perspective, although, you know, we also look at it through the eyes of faith, but it is, you know, an academic survey really of the New Testament. So these introductions, the commentaries, all the concordance features, right, the thematic index at the back, you know, these really help with an academic study of the New Testament as well. So for example, here in Mark, you know, we look at the introduction, and, you know, it's got information about the author. And in this particular study Bible, we've got a couple, it goes over, you know, a couple of different theories about the author of Mark, right? It makes a case for the traditional view that St. Matthew, the apostle, was the author of the Gospel of Matthew, because, you know, there are some biblical scholars who, you know, think that they see the Gospels as more anonymous, right? But the authors, well, the compilers, the commentators on this one, they kind of defend more of the traditional view, right? That the authors of the Gospels are the people that they're attributed to: St. Matthew, St. Mark, St. Luke, St. John, right? And then as for date, you know, there are approximate dates. None of the dates are known for sure, but you know, there's a lot of good information in here in the introductions for each book, not just the Gospels, but for all the letters as well. And in addition to the individual introductions, you know, the introduction to the Gospels has a lot of great information as well. There's information in here about the historicity of the Gospels, the relationship among the Gospels. So Scott Hahn and Curtis Mitch, you know, they discuss in here the so-called synoptic problem, right? You know, the fact that the first three Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, are so similar. That's discussed at length in here with several different theories. So, you know, you've got the Augustine hypothesis, the two-gospel hypothesis, the two-source hypothesis, and the Farrer hypothesis, right? So this is all discussed at length in here, in addition to, you know, all the individual introductions to the Gospels and letters. And as you saw in the preview there, we've got a lot of insets here. For example, this one is Mary, Ark of the Covenant, and it goes along thematically with the reading in Luke 1. It talks about you know, Mary as the Ark of the Covenant, and there are a lot of these little article insets throughout there. And then the next one, the census of Quirinius, and again, that's topical based on where it's at in Luke chapter 2. So the articles are always topical as they're sprinkled throughout. And of course, you know, the footnotes at the bottom, and as you saw in the preview, the different images here, you know, they all indicate something else. They all indicate something like either a linguistic reference, kind of a faith reference, or a particular word reference. So that's in the key at the beginning of the book, as you saw in the preview. So jumping ahead a little bit, I want to go back to that concordance index in the back. You know, I thought that is a really great resource, and you saw that briefly during the preview. But, you know, again, I just wanted to highlight that, the Concise Concordance Index. You know, for example, we've got, you know, it's word-based, right? So, for example, you know, we have, you know, accursed, for example, right? We've got the word accursed here. You can't, you know, see it very well, but it's highlighted by word, and so we've got all the instances of that word being used in a phrase. So, for example, who do not know the law are accursed, John 7:49. A gospel contrary, let him be accursed, Galatians 1:8-9, right? So it is a particular word or theme-based concordance. And again, at the back, after the concordance, we've got, again, there's a theme index as well. So the concordance is really particularly specific word-based, but the index in the back is more thematic. But, you know, either way, it's a great resource, whether you're looking for a particular word or just a broad theme. We've got an index of Jesus' miracles in the back, index of parables and metaphors, right? And then finally, you've got the maps in the back, as you saw in the preview. So really, this is quite the arsenal for New Testament studies, particularly from an academic perspective. But again, you know, the authors of this particular study Bible, Hahn and Curtis Mitch, you know, they are known theologians. Not just they're known not just for their academic acumen, but also for their for the fact that they are, you know, they're scholars of faith, right? They look at the scriptures academically, but they also look at it through the eyes of faith, where a lot of New Testament scholars don't really do that. You know, they kind of examine scripture as if it's just some relic, right, that has no real supernatural qualities. They just look at it as a piece of literature. But the commentators on this one are quite the opposite. So if you're looking for a very thorough study Bible, and one that particularly is written through the lens of faith, then I don't think you can do much better than this one.